Okay, good. We're good now. All right. So CSS basically, CSS is more like to style the things we have, the contents we've written with HTML. That's what we use CSS for. So we have three ways to write our CSS. We have the internal, we have the inline, and we have the external. So let me start with the internal. So let's say, for example, I have my H1 here, my H1. Then I say something like welcome to the world. I say welcome to the world now. If I save this, you know what? Welcome to the world. Okay. So I have welcome to the world here. Bring some. Okay. So welcome to the world here. So let's check what we have. Welcome to the world. Let's check it out. So let me refresh. Welcome to the world. That's what we have here. So let's say, for example, I
Yeah.
want to do my inline. If I want to do inline now, what do I need to do? I hope you can see my screen very well.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So what we can do, I'll this H1 here, I'll put space here inside the opening tag. Then I'll come here, I'll type style. So inside the style now, that is when I will now put color. I'll now say color. I can say red. If I should pick
Uh,
the red color and then save, I'm so sure you've seen this before. We did it the last class. We are just doing it again. So it shouldn't be very
yes,
difficult.
yes,
So let me refresh.
yes,
Can you see the color is now red?
yes.
So let's say I want to add more things to it. I will just come to the back of this semicolon here. So the part of this semicolon here, I'll put space. Then I will say, let's say font size. I can say two, let me say 20 px. So 20 px. Then I will come here, I will refresh. Can you see what
So the
happened?
size of the
It
word.
became smaller. So
Yes,
let's give it 90 so you can really see the difference. All right. Can you see it became bigger?
yes. Oh,
Hmm.
too big.
Yeah, too big. So this is how you work with inline styling. Inline styling. So if you want to work with internal, internal is more like you coming after this title, you put your space, you type style. Then inside style now, you now need to pick your selectors. So now let's have another tag here. So I'll have a P tag here. Let me have H3 tag here. So inside the H3 tag, I'll say this. Let me do all caps. This is our internal styling. Is our internal style. So let me say this is our internal style here. So now remember, what's the name of the tag? H3, right? And
Yes.
if you can recall, this is how the anatomy of CSS looks like. We have the selector and we have the declaration, right? So the selector is more like the tag name, the IDs, the class name, what you can use to differentiate them. That's what selector means. And the declaration are now the colors, the font size, like what you want. Those are the declaration. Let's say you want the size to be big, you want the color to be different, you want indigo, you want orange, you want brown, yellow, those kind of things. So
Yeah.
now what's the selector here? That's H3, right? Remember when we were doing inline, we didn't even need to worry about selectors and the likes. That's because we are styling that
Honestly,
particular
I was
element.
even going to say that first one sef is more easier for,
Mm-hmm.
but
Okay.
they all do the same job,
They all
abi.
do the
The
same
same
thing. So
thing.
now, if you want to work with this H3 now, I'll come inside this style. I'll come and type H3 here. So after typing H3, then I'll put these curly brackets. Then I'll now start typing what I want to type. So I will type color, font size, and the likes. If I want to add more things, I can add more things here. I guess our call is ending soon, right?
Yes,
Is that what it's saying?
yes.
How many minutes?
15 minutes. 15.
15. All right, so I will try
Yeah.
as much as possible to see if I can get another one created before the end of the class. So
All right.
we have the H3 here. We have, we don't have them yet. Let me. All right, so we have the fonts. We can save font weight. We can save bold and the likes. But you save it now and then go to the browser to refresh. Can you see our p tag is now bold? Our p tag is now looking like heading tag, right?
Mm,
Our
right.
p tag is now looking like heading tag. So that's one of the things you want to make sure you actually work with. So you can see we've been able to select something here. That's you doing your internal style. You can also add more. Let's say if you have a p tag here, you can add more. Put your this thing here. You can add more. If you have a p tag, that's internal styling. So when it now comes to external styling now, how do you work with external styling? So let me take this out. So external styling now is now when you create a new file, the way we did here, what we did here, we created
Dot CSS.
styles.css. So inside this style.css now, let's go back to our um our HTML. So let me come and put a p tag here. A p tag. I will now say this is our external. This is our external style, right? Our p tag. So now, the moment you create your style.css, the first thing you need to do before putting styles here is come to under this title here, under this title, come and put link. Put link, then select CSS. If you select CSS, it automatically pick a name for you. But what name do we call our own here?
Style.css.
What's the name here?
Style. Style.css.
So what do we need to do? Look at it though. Are they the same?
No, no, no. There's an
You need to
S
put so we add
nothing
the
else.
S.
Yeah.
So now what this means is that we are linking our CSS to our HTML. We are linking our style to our HTML. You get, we are
Yeah.
linking them together. So now the next thing we want to do. So the next thing I want to do is now start styling. So what's the name of the p tag? Oh, sorry, I already said it. What's the name of the tag here? That's p tag, right?
Yes.
So now that same p tag, we'll just pick it here. P, then we now say color, font size, all those kind of things. We add them, and then
Yeah.
we should have it here. Let me refresh. Can you see? Color is blue. Let's change the color to red, so you know that what we are saying is the same. Can you see the color is now red? Makes sense.
Mm. Yes.
Mhm. So that's how to work with styles. That's
I
how to
prefer the
work with
first one,
styles.
honestly. That
So
one
you
is very
prefer the first one,
straightforward.
honestly. So now
No
let's say
stress.
no, the first one is actually straightforward. But remember, you have to write
Mm.
style for each of the things you're doing, like everything inline.
Everything was style.
And the reason why we use external, because that's the industry standard, is because of um is because so your code can be clean. Is so your code can be clean. Look at this p tag. Did you write anything inside it?
No.
Did you write anything inside our HTML? No. For to tie this p tag, no. Look at internal. We needed to write inside our HTML. Now, considering the fact that you need to write like 5 styles for something, let me give an example here. So let's say I want to do more style here. Um, font weight bold. I want to do more style. Um, text text decoration. Let's say I want to say dashed. I want to add more things. Can you see that it's already breaking to the next line? Look at it's already breaking to the other end. I have to come and be doing this. And this doesn't make sense. If you look at it, it doesn't really make sense. That's why it is not the industry standard. Do you get? That's why it's not the industry standard. All these styles here, all these things here, I can just come here and
Yeah.
come and put everything here inside our external. So let's do it here. Let me take this out. Or let me save it so you can see what we have. Let me save it so you can see what we have. So you know that we want to do the same thing. Uh let's take this out. So now what's the name of the tag?
H1. Oh,
H1. All right. So I'll say H1. Then I'll say color red, font size 90. All right. So let's refresh. Can you see that the colors still remain the same?
yeah.
And look at it. Is our HTML not clean this way? Mhm.
Says.
It is clean. That's the major reason why we use this particular external styling, because it makes your code clean. This one too, this internal, we can come over here and then put our h3 and then do our colors and everything, and then take this out, take this style here, take it out. Can you see that our HTML is very clean now? There's nothing like style or any other thing here. Everything is
Oh,
just
anything
clean.
inside.
But do we have the same results? Yes. You
Yeah.
can just come to your style here, come and style it. So let's say I want to turn this to blue. I'll come here, I'll refresh, sorted. Makes sense. So that's one thing you want to look at when you are working with inline, internal, and external. So you can choose to do any of the three, but the industry standard is the external. That's the industry standard. The external is the
Industry.
industry.
That's the
Yes,
professional understanding.
exactly. That's what we use
Yeah.
professionally. That's what we use. All right. So the next thing
Yeah.
next thing we want to look at is actually I've been able to like explain the internal, inline, and the external to you. Now you understand. So we now want to look at selectors. So the first one, like I said the last time, I said we are going to be discussing four selectors here because that's what we use mostly. Four selectors. The last one, we use it every time, but most times I only use it once when I'm working on a project. I only use it once when I'm working on a project. So let's look at the type selector. The type selectors are the same with is the type selector are the same thing with our tags. Do you get?
Yes, sir.
Mhm. They are the same thing with our tags, like the way we have all this one here. They are the same as our tags. So the way we have H1, H2, H3, P tag, this kind of thing, those are type selectors. They are type selectors. Do I need to explain anything more about type selectors anymore? Because we know that our type selector are our H1, our H2, our H3, our P tag. Do you get? Our anchor tag, right? All those
Yes.
tags now. Those are
Yes,
our
sir.
those are
Type
our
selector.
main this the type selectors. So the next one we have the class selectors. The class selector. So where we use the class selector more is when we are grouping. That is when we use the class selector more. Whenever we are grouping, we use it a lot. So let's say for example, if you go to a website now, we have different sections, right? We have the
Yeah.
head section, heading section, we have the about section, we have different sections. So that's where I'm going to introduce the div tag to you, the div tag. So now we have a lot of tags, right, that you can actually use because we work with semantic HTML basically. So I'll explain some of them to you now. So one of the grouping tags that we have the heading tag, we have the footer, Did we discuss the footer when we were working with HTML?
Footer.
Yes, footer.
I doubt it.
Okay, so we are going to look at everything now. So
Okay.
I'll use how do I dey say it? I'll use one stone to kill two birds. So we have the heading, that's the header. We have the header tag. So inside the header tag, what we used to have most times inside the header tag, we have something like welcome to my website. We have our nav. This nav now, you can see when we're working with HTML, what we put, I just put the URL directly, right?
Yeah.
But now, can you see me putting it inside a nav bar? Look at it, a nav tag. I'm putting inside a nav tag. So that nav is just going to, it's more like a semantic design, the way we write it because of SEO. Do you get? Because remember I said your browser, it actually reads your code from top to bottom. They translate it to what people can see. So anytime anything you wrote, that's what people will see. And remember what your doc type is doing. The doc type, that's the type of document, that's HTML, right?
Yes.
So now this heading tag now is more like you want to group. So like it's more like saying, oh, I want to group everything into one place. That's heading. Do you get? That's what this heading tag. That's actually what it's for. So now I can have another tag. Now I can say section. There's another tag called section. That section too. You can have a lot of things inside too. You can say this is our about page, or let me say H1. I can say something like let me say about us. Then under it, I will say our mission to provide blah 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 blah. So this also another tag. These are another tag too that you can use. You can use div, you can use section, but note that you cannot use header in the middle. You only use header at the top. I hope you got what I'm trying to say.
It's only one header.
Yes, only one header. This section you can use it multiple times. Do you get? This section you can use
Yeah.
multiple times. I can have another section here. Remember, they are just tags, right? They are just tags. They are basically
Yeah.
tags. They are nothing. So this is another one, div. So this div now, I can put something else inside. I can say testimonial. I can say H1. I can say testimonials, then come here and put what our client says, blah blah. Then I can now have another one. That's the last one. That's the footer. So inside this footer, that's now where you put, my website copy. Let me just give you an example. But do you understand everything I did here? All these things they are normal tags, right? Footer,
Yeah.
everything is more like they are for grouping. Do you get? They are for
Yeah.
grouping. So we use them to group anything we want to do. So the footer, the div, the section, you can use section. But remember that you only use header and footer once HTML, in your HTML file. You don't want to be using header. The same way I'm using section here. You can use section 100 times. You can use div 100 times, but make sure that your footer you only using once. Because what footer means, let me show you an example of what footer means here. So footer is just like if we go to which website can we go to now? Do you know a website we can go to? Let me just go to my own.
Yeah.
All right. So now I've scrolled to the down. Okay, I think it's loading. All right. So now this is the ending. This is the footer area. Do you get? Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Can you
The
see my
ending.
screen? The ending. This
Yes.
is the footer. This is the footer. This is the footer area. So this is the ending. It is footer. Makes sense?
Yes, sir.
So will it make sense for me to be repeating footer in this kind of place now? And then I'll now put footer here again. Does it make sense? Oh, our class is ending. Oh. Damn, I didn't remember to create that class. I have to create another one. New meeting.
Your website, abi?
All right. So I was explaining footer, right? I was explaining footer. Then we have just one header. So that header is all this place. All this place you're seeing here. All this place you're seeing here. This is our header. So you don't want to have more than one
The whole
header.
black space.
Yes. You don't want to
Everything,
have more than
everything
one header.
around there, where everything is written.
Hmm?
Like everything, like where everything is written. The whole black this thing.
Yes, the old black area, that's our header.
Okay.
So you just want to
Header.
have one header in your code.
Okay.
Just one header.
Okay.
Don't have more than one header, please. So don't have more than one footer. So you can
Okay.
have more divs. You can have more sections. You can have other tags. You can have them. You can have multiple, right? So
Okay.
let's now move to the this thing we now want to do. So now we said we can have multiple, right? So the fact that we can have multiple here, what does that mean now? So that means it will take us to our class selectors, our class selector. Remember we're discussing about selector, right?
Yeah.
Before I went to explain that one. So on our class selector now, what do we want to do on our class selector? For our class selector, I'll do um I want to pick one we can easily work with. All right, so let me pick this one. Let me pick this one. So I'll give it a class. So inside the class now, I can say what I want to say. So let me call it services. Services, right? So I'll save
Yeah.
it. I will now come here. Yes, very good. I remember we spoke about class selector. So if it is a class, how do we reference it here? I could remember. Good. But yeah, if it's a class, how do we reference it? Because I could remember we did something like that.
Dot selector.
Hmm? I could
Dot
remember we did
selector. Yeah.
something like that. What do you say?
If it is a class,
Yes.
yeah, it's dots now.
Dots. You
Yeah,
saw
we are
it.
using dots.
You saw it. You saw it.
I
No
didn't. No, no,
problem.
no. I didn't see it.
All
I didn't
right.
see it.
So I'll write dot
Yeah.
service, right? That dot services.
Yeah.
Or what do we call the name here? We call these services, right? I'll copy the
Yes.
name, then I'll come here, I'll say dot services. Dot services, and I'll put our this in here. So now let's give it a background color, font size, 30 px, things like that. And then let's check it out. So if I should refresh now, these are services. Services. Okay, these are services. Color. Okay. I just wrote color here. I'm not meant to write color because I picked the whole section and it doesn't make sense for you to say color for the whole section. Is either you say background
Mm,
color, right?
okay.
Am I recording? All right. Is this how you say background color? Background color. So let's say background color, light gray. Things like this. Then I can remove this one. Save. Hey, no, 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 that's not what to do. Control Y. All right, save. All right, so I can come over here to refresh. Can you see the background color has changed?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Good. So now let's say we want to now select these services. Now we want the color to be indigo, or we want the color to be different color. Now remember that this section we can have more than one section, right? And remember that we can inside one section we can have h1 tag, right?
Yes. So.
So now look at something. Oh. There's a p tag here, there's a p tag here, there's a p tag here, and there's a p tag here, right? If I come here
Yes.
and do p tag and say color, look at it, oh, color indigo. If I say indigo here, if I should come to this thing, if I should refresh, can you see that all the p tags, the color changed to indigo? Look at it. Look at it. Do you notice it?
Yeah.
Let me give it another color so you know that we are right. Let me say Indian red. Let me say Indian red and
India
refresh.
red.
So can you see that Indian red is there? Can you see?
Yeah.
They all changed to Indian red.
Yeah. The options.
So now look at it. To you, does it make sense? Because you might want to have another p tag somewhere and you want to style it differently. Do you get? That is the reason why
Yes.
we use all this class selector, ID selector to style a particular one. So make sense?
Yes, sir.
We pick a particular one so we can style it. That's the reason why we do that. So now, if I should come here now and say, sorry, and say dot, sorry, dot services, and then another p, that's the p tag. What this means is that the p tag inside this what inside these services, this is it. That's
Services.
what it means. That is, I've selected the p tag inside this particular services. So if I should come here now and say color should be black, color should be black. If I should save it. Now remember that the main color that I put for all the p tag is what Indian red. But now that I say, oh,
Yeah.
color should be black here, I say color should be black here. Let's go and check if that one is going to work. So can you see that the color of this one is black? But other p tags, can you see
Yeah.
that they are still Indian red? Look at
Still
them,
Indian
Indian red, Indian red. But now we've been able to, this particular section, we'll be able to style it and give it what we want. Makes sense?
True. Yes, sir.
Same thing with H3 tag. No, same thing with H1 tag. If you look at it, we have H1 here, we have H1 here. Now, if you look at all the H1 tag in our project, can you see that everything is looking the same? They have the same color and the same font size, right?
Yes.
So now we can change it. So how do we change it now? We work with what? We work with their selectors. That's what we work with. We work with their selectors. So now, if I want to change this one, I will just come here. I'll come here and I'll say, what will I say here? I want to change for H1. I'll say services, right? Then I'll pick H1. Then I'll say color green. Color should be what? Green. If I say color should be green, let's come here. Let's refresh. Oh, we have green color. Is it making sense?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Can you see the color is green here, but other ones are still retaining the same color and everything. Do you get? So that's how to work with class selector. So you can have more than one class. So let's say I want to give this testimonial now. I can come here and give it a class of what? I'll call it testimonials, right? So I should copy it, I'll save it, then I'll come here. Since the class, I'll use dot to reference it, then I'll say, okay, let's pick testimonials. Let's pick, I mean, what tag do we have inside it? We have one H1 there. So I'll say H1. So I'll say color. Color should be purple. Font size. I will reduce the font size. So you'll be able to see it. Font size, let's say 40 px. If I save, look at it. Initially, can you see how the testimonial looks like? But let me refresh now. Hey, can you see that the text is now small and the color changed to purple?
Yes.
So that's how to work with class selectors. Same thing with ID selector too. ID selector. So ID selector is more like you come here, let's say I want to give this particular p tag here. I want to give it an ID. ID is more like specific. Remember, class is for general thing, is to classify, right? Is
Yeah.
that not what class is for?
So classify.
Yes. But ID now is for a specific thing. So now let's say I want to style this particular p tag now. Come here, I'll just write ID, then I'll give it an ID. So let me give it an ID. I'll give it an ID testimonial slash one dash one. If I just copy this and save, then I'll come here. So now the testimonial now, how do we reference ID? Oh yeah, tell me, how do we reference ID? You're the one that told me for class.
For ID.
Yes.
Hmm.
Say, you use hash for ID. You use hash for ID.
Okay.
So now, let's say the color should be orange. If I say the color should be orange now, let me refresh. Oh, can you see we have orange? Can you see we
Ah.
have orange? Hmm. So these are one of some of the things you want to like pay attention to. These are the things you want to pay attention to. So we've been able to work with the type selector, class selector, ID selector. Then we now want to look at the last one, which is the universal selector. So if you look at our code here, you will see that there's a space here. Look at it. There's a space here and there's also a space here. I don't know if you are looking at it. Yes, you can see that there's a space here. Look at it. There's a
In the
space here.
middle.
Abi, can you see?
Yeah. Or was that the result
Uh,
of the line break?
no, we didn't add any line break to our code.
Yes, yes, yes.
Uh,
Actually.
so that it is just this one is just automatic. This one comes automatically. So now what do we use?
Automatically.
We use
Okay.
the universal selector. So I'll come here, I'll put it at the top. Remember I said I only use it most times. I only use it once in my code. I only use it once. So how do you use universal selector? You put your asterisk. So that asterisk is our universal selector. So I'll put our margin 0, padding 0, box sizing, font family, everything. I'll set it, then I'll say save. Then I'll come here. If I should refresh now, can you see that everything is back? Let me take out.
Hmm.
Let me comment the this thing and refresh. Okay, can you see that everything is now back? There's no longer space here
Yeah.
anymore. So that is what that particular this thing. That's what it does. Do you get? That's universal selector. So how many selectors do you know now?
Ah.
You're not saying anything, no?
About three. About three.
Hmm. Three. Oh, yeah, name them. Let me hear.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, now name me the selectors you know.
Um. We have the
We have the type selector, we have the class selector, we
type
have the ID
selector,
selector, and we
class
have the
selector.
universal selector. Mm. All right. So let's move on. Let's move on. We've talked about the selectors. So we want to look at okay, CSS rule. I think I've explained all those things. So when we talk about specificity, specificity. If you want to look at something like this, so yeah, I think but let's just look at it very well. Let's just look at it very well. So now this specificity here, what we want to do is that, for example, if we have sorry, since you have the recording, I can be clearing my code. You have the recording. The class is recorded, so you can. So now let's say I have a tag here, and I want to use lorem. So lorem is more like you having a lot of dummy words. Do you get? When you have a lot of dummy words, so you can decide to use lorem 50. You can use lorem
Um,
5. See, if I use lorem 5 here, so lorem 6 is going to create 6 dummy words for me. Look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Makes sense? Hmm? Does that make sense?
yes.
Okay, so let me do lorem 30. So it's going to create 30 words for me. So now that I've done lorem 30 now, I've done lorem 30. So I've done lorem 30 now. So now let's say for example, I want this particular place here, this particular side here to be I want to style it in a different way. Remember what we used to do when we want to style one particular place in a tag? What do we used to do?
I want to start one particular place.
Yes, in a tag. What do we used to do? We used to do something.
Where is the starting point?
The starting point is here. This Sandy, I mean, this thing.
Okay. There's no tag there. It's inside the tag you're
No,
going to
look
do.
at it. Is inside p tag. But remember,
Inside that
let's say we want to make something bold. We want to make it bold. Remember what we used to do.
strong. Okay. Strong. The
So we
strong
use
tag.
a hair, we put it inside it, right? That's what we do.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So now I won't put the strong tag directly. What I will do is
Okay.
I will put it inside a tag called span. So span is more like saying I don't want to, if I put strong here, that means I'm already writing in line. Does that make sense to you?
Okay.
So I don't want to do inline. So I can come here and say span. I can put a span tag. So let me just come here and say span. So I'll put my span tag. Then I will now take everything here. I'll cut
Mm,
them. I'm so sure we've done something like this before. I'll put it inside span tag. So if I put them inside span tag now, that means what I need to do now is that I need to select this p tag. So let me give this p tag. Let me give it an ID. So I will say I'll call it our our text. So I'll just copy it. I'll save it. Then I'll come here. Let me take out everything we have here. Blank. Okay. So now I'll use our hash. Then I'll come here. Now remember that if I change the color, Peter, let me change the color. Let me say color. Color.
mm,
Let me say color is blue. Let's say color is blue, font size, everything. I wrote everything here. Let's just have that one just for testing. So now this is the way it looks like, right? Remember
yeah.
that we picked this recursion, blah, 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 this particular one. That's what we picked. So now if I want to
Yes.
tie that particular thing here, I'll come here, I'll put our this thing here. Then I will now select span. Remember that we have span here, this span, right? This span.
Yes.
So now the span here, I will now say font weight, I'll call it bold, I'll call it red. So if I should come here now and refresh, can you see that it's red? That's me
Yes.
differentiating it from other text inside that particular place. Does that make sense to you?
Actually.
It makes sense to you.
Yes, sir.
All right, good.
Yeah.
So, we want to look at other things too.
I'm
Don't tell me your head is
mm,
also.
it is well.
You have recording now. So
It is
don't worry.
well. Mhm.
Hmm. No worry. So we have something called
Okay.
pseudo selectors, that pseudo classes and pseudo elements, pseudo classes and pseudo elements. So the first one is link, right? So basically, link allows you to set styles for links that have not yet been visited. I can remember we did something like this. I can remember we did something like this,
Link.
but don't let me stress a lot. Let me just copy what we have here. So I'll just come here to control, take it out. Like this thing. So we have a link here. We have a tag here. All right. All right. So this is what we have here. So these are all links, right? So if I should come here and refresh, we have our links here. Makes sense. Look at the
Yeah.
way they are. Look at the way they are looking. So now, if I want to add our this thing to it, if I want to add our this thing to it, our pseudo classes to it now, I'll just come here. I'll say, what name did we give it? We gave it a class. So I'll say dot menu, right? So I'll now say li.
Yeah.
So now look at it. When I say li now, the next thing I want to do, I want to use our this thing, our pseudo. Look at it, our pseudo classes. That's what I want to use. So I want to use a link first. So I'll just come here, I'll press A, then I'll say link. So what it does is that what it does is that any link you visited here, let's say we visited home. Look at this, it's link. It's showing what this means is that we visited all this place. That's what it
That's the
means.
key.
We visited them. So let me see if I can add more. All right. So I just added more to it now. No, not be service. I won't add. Let me give it another place. Let me say service. So if I give it service now, if I should refresh now, can you see that the color is blue? This one too.
Yeah.
Let me give it another thing. Let me give it one name. The color is be blue. This one is just to explain what it means. So now look at the color is blue, right? Look at it. The color is blue.
Yes.
But the moment I click on it and then I come back, let me refresh. Hold on. Oh. Where is it? This one is blue. So let me give it new branch.html. Yes, let me give it new branch.html. Let me refresh. Let me click on it and let me come back. Can you see that the moment I clicked on it and come back, it turns to the same color with all these things?
Yeah.
That means I've visited this link. I'm so sure you will have gone to Google before. When you go to Google and then you press something, this let's press map. Look at it, let's press map. When I press map now, I've visited map now, right? Hmm? I just visited
Yes,
map.
sir.
So let me come back. Let me come back. Before I visited, it was blue. Can you see that it's now the same? It's
Yes.
now this color. That shows that I've
Mm.
visited this particular place. That's what that does. That's what that's what it does. And this visited too. Do you get? So now let's say, for example, I want to style what I've visited. I can now use this visited too. I can use it visited. So over. Let's work with over now. So over is actually one of the important things that we want to work with. So now over. So if I want to work with over now, I'll come here. I'll put dot menu li. Then I'll say a. Then I'll say over. So I'm so sure you will know what over means. So let's say when I over on it, it should be red. This kind of thing. Let me show you what over means. So now what this all over means. Wait, oh, where are we having our class? Okay. So if I should refresh now, when I over on this thing, when I move my mouse over it, can you see it is red?
Yeah.
I'm seeing class. So okay, I'm seeing class. I'm seeing class one. Okay, so now when I over on it, can you see?
Right. Red now.
Hmm. Yes, and it's giving it underline. So this is what over. This is what it means. This is what over. This is what over means. Right?
Um.
Yes. This is what over means. Oh, is that your laptop?
What?
Is that your laptop that is sounding coco?
Be like.
Okay. All right. So let's look at this focus. Focus too. Focus is more like, let's say you have this thing. you have a tag. Now you are using that particular, if you are currently on that particular place and that element is being focused on, that is when, so that's when we use this particular one. Sorry about that. So now
Okay.
we have active too. Active too is also the same thing. This apply when a link is being activated by a user. For example, when a button is being pressed or clicked, that's when active. Active is like make it bigger, make it small, all those kind of thing. But most times we don't really use it. But please, it's something you should actually learn. Oh. Those are the things I'm looking at leaving for you. But I just want to like just explain what it
Mm.
means because I've actually explained it here. First child too.
All
First
right.
child is more like you setting them. So that's what first child too. That's actually what it does. This first child. The assignment I'm going to give you, there's first child inside, there's last child inside. Oh.
Ah,
Even there's
there's
nth child, yes. There's nth child inside. First
uh,
letter, there's first letter. Look at this first letter here. I'm so sure you can see it. This
um,
first letter
yes,
is inside.
yes.
Because I can remember that I put that first
Uh,
letter inside it. I can remember. How do I
Jesus
make this
word.
bigger? Come on, escape. So we can smile. Abi? Jesus way, so we can
uh,
smile. So yes, all these things are what I'm going to ask you because I really need to make you to do research too. You need to make research too. Wait to these are what we have done before now. So I was trying looking at it.
yeah.
So we've done all these ones. I've explained all these ones. So text now, text. We have text transformation. So we have text decoration. I think I did something like that here. Text decoration, underline. This is another declaration you can have. Text decoration, you can say underline. You can do anything to it. You can say anything. This is how I want it. Line height. So the line height property is used to specify the space between lines. The value can be EM or PX. Don't worry, I'm going to explain what EM or PX. I'm going to explain what it means. But it can be in PX or EM. So line height basically it just like let's say I have let me copy this. Let me copy this div. I should have this and then I paste it in my HTML. I want to paste in my HTML. You can see that every time I paste something, it's always catching, but I used to come and arrange it. I don't even notice that about me. It's not as if I cannot work with it though, but I'm just trying to build a good culture with anybody I'm
Mm.
teaching. I won't have any problem with it, but it just doesn't make sense when everything is scattered and I continue styling. Doesn't just make sense to me. I'm just trying to build a good culture with you guys so that you people not start writing problem. And the reason why I do that most times is because of myself. Why did I say it's because of myself? Is because you guys, you will come across some errors. I won't even know where the error is coming from. So, but when your code is neatly written, it will be
Be able
easier
to
for me to see that error.
identify where.
It will be easy for me. So let me take the line height. Let me take it down so you can see what the difference. Look at the height. Look at the height of the. You can see them. But once I add the line height here, can you see the difference?
Line
Can you see
height.
the difference?
Okay. Okay.
That's what line height. That's actually what line height. That's what it does. So letter spacing too. You can space letters too. Of course, you should know what space letters should mean like that. Letter
Yes.
spacing. Letter spacing. Let me give it like let's say 40 px. You should know what it's going to do. Look at it. Can you see the spacing? Yeah, I'm so sure you should know that because all these one are just normal word. You can also do word spacing too. All these things are just text shadow. You can have your text shadow, you can have your this thing. You can have text align. That this is actually very important. Text align. Let me comment all these ones. No, let me have another p tag here. Let me create another p tag here. So I have a p tag here. So I'll say lorem 10 to this one. So lorem 10. So we can see it and check it out. Lorem 10. This is our lorem 10 here. Or I'll come here, I'll clear all these ones. I'll clear them so it doesn't disrupt what we are doing. So I'll refresh. This is lorem 10 here. So now this p tag now, remember I can just come here and pick the p tag and say what do we want to do? Text align, right? I'll say text align center. If I say text align center here and come here and refresh, can you see that everything is in the middle? Can you see everything is in the middle?
Yes.
So that's what text align, that's what it does. So the next thing we want to look at is our list style type. List style type. Let's work with our list. So now, if you have a list, let's work with our list. If you have a list here, let's have our list. Let's have our OL. Let's use OL. Okay. I was like, what's going on? This is no pick. You no pick everything. No, no problem. I'll pick it myself. Oh, this problem. I don't like it. Let me just do my own myself. OL. Inside the OL, of course, what I want to have, I want to have our li, right? But that our li
Yeah.
now, I want to add a this thing to it, a class name of hash, a class name of hash to it. Or don't let me add a class name of hash to it. Put let's have our li first. That our li. Then inside it, we want to have an anchor tag. So we want to have something like this: item one, item two, item three. So what we want to work with is list out type, right? That's what we want to work with. So if you look at all these things here, if you should come here, sorry, if you should go to our browser to check it out, look at the list. Look at the way everything is. Of course, you know order this is one, two, three by default, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. So now if this since this one is one, two, three by default, okay. So now we have all these things here. So we have all these things here. Item here. So they are all links now. So if you want to do the list out type here, you just come here. Now you pick OL. Remember that we don't have more than one OL here. Can you say that? That's why I did not put them. That's why I did not put class. I didn't mean I have more than one OL in my code. I'll put class. So I hope you know that.
Yes.
So that's why I did not put this thing. So I'll say OL. So inside the OL now, I'll pick li. So now the li now, I will now say list out type here. I'll say none. If I say none here, let's check what we have. Can you see that there's no list anymore? Make sense?
Mhm.
Did you see that?
Uh, yeah.
Did you see that one?
There's no list there anymore.
Don't worry, don't worry. We are about to stop. Don't worry, because my aim is 11. So list
Okay.
out type. Did you see
Nice.
the list out type?
No, where is it?
Hold on. Let's do it again. Just look at what I'm
Okay.
doing. I have OL here, right? And I came here to
Yeah.
say OL. Then in the middle, here I said OL. Then I pick my LI. Then I say something like list out type, and I say none. Remember those things that we put like in the middle here that we come here and say type. Have you forgotten that we did something like this?
Hey.
You forgotten?
Okay, under the list,
Yes, that will turn into small
inside the
letter.
list.
Yeah, that will turn
Yeah.
into Roman numerals, small letters, those kind of thing that we did here.
Type.
uh
Okay.
That's the list out type in CSS. That's what we call list out type in CSS. Does that make sense to you
Mm,
now? That's
yes.
what we call list out type in CSS. All right. So for another list too, we have the same thing. So I'm very sure we've done something like font family. Font family is more like, let's say we want to change the text of what we are writing. So let's say, for example, I want to have like our universal tag here, as every text in this thing should change. So I want to have like a font family. So I want to pick Arial sans serif now. You will see that the text will change. You can see that the text is now different. So you can decide to use any font family here. I can come and delete this one. We have a lot of them, like a lot of them. I can use Franklin, Gothic, and the likes. If I should refresh, can you see that this one is different? So we have something called
Yeah.
font family, and then we have something called font weight. So our font weight is our strong. That's strong in HTML. That's our what? That's our font weight. So now if I should come here and say font, no, don't let me do it on this one. Let me do it on. Don't let me do it on list. Let me do it on text. So it will be more visible. Let me do it on p-text. So I will do lorem 5. So I'll come here, I'll select our p tag here, then I'll say font weight, font weight. So I'll say bold. So that was strong tag now. That's what I can do here. Can you see that it's now bold?
Yeah.
Does it make sense to you?
100.
Hmm?
Yes.
Okay. So since this one actually makes sense to you, can you see that we can use rather than using our strong tag, we can come and style everything here. So the font style too, you can come here and say font style, font style. I can say italics. Then I'll save and I'll come here to refresh. You can see the font style. You can see the way it looks like.
Mm,
That's italics. That's our EM tag, if you can remember. EM
yeah.
tag, emphasis tag. Then we have font size too. No,
Mm,
I've been using font size since we started. So you can come here and say font size, font size. So you can say 40px. Then you save. Then you come over here and refresh. Can you see that the font size is now different? That's changed.
I'll be down.
So we have font size. So, yep. So now this is more like an exercise, right? This particular one here. This is an exercise. Then we'll now look at module 2. But this is the first thing we are going to do. This is the first thing we're going to do, and the first exercise we're going to do. I'm so sure you have the manual with you now.
The
Hmm?
manual, yes.
I gave
Yes.
you the manual. So we are going to look at this. We are going to look at this. So you are going to do this. Then let me check if let me pause. No, let me pause the recording.